Have you noticed something strange? You don't see as many pregnant women as you used to. You don't hear as many young couples talking about starting families. You see more people saying they don't want kids, can't afford kids, or don't trust this world enough to bring children into it. And at first that sounds like just another social trend. But when you step back and look at it spiritually, America's falling birth rate might be saying something much deeper. This may not just be about money. This may be about a nation losing faith in family, covenant, legacy, and the future itself. The numbers don't lie. According to CDC data, the number of births in the United States rose slightly in 2024 to about 3.63 million births, but the general fertility rate still declined to 53.8 births per 1,000 women ages 15 to 44. The total fertility rate also stayed far below the replacement level, around 1.6 births per woman. So even when births tick up a little bit, the bigger picture is still the same. America is not replacing itself like it used to. And this is not just an American issue. A lot of developed nations are dealing with the same thing. Fewer marriages, fewer children, delayed families, economic pressure, and people questioning whether bringing children into the world is even wise anymore. But here's the question nobody really wants to sit with. Is this only economic, or is there something spiritual happening underneath the surface? The money explanation is real. Let's be fair, a lot of people are not having children because life is expensive. Rent is high, food is high, childcare is high, medical bills are high. A lot of people are working full time and still feel like they're barely surviving. So when you ask a young man or woman, why don't you have children yet? They may be thinking, with what money, in what house, under what stability, with what support system? And that part is real. A child is not a fashion accessory. A child is not a social media prop. A child is a soul, a responsibility, a living legacy. So yes, the economic pressure is real, but if we stop there, we miss the deeper issue, because previous generations had hardship too. Some had poverty, war, segregation, depression, famine, and still believed in building families. So what changed? A culture losing covenant. The deeper issue is this: America is losing covenant. Marriage is mocked. Motherhood is treated like a setback. Fatherhood is treated like either a joke or a trap. Children are treated like burdens unless the parents are rich. Men and women don't trust each other. Everybody is wounded. Everybody is guarded. Everybody is calculating risk. And when a culture loses trust, birth rates fall. Because children come from more than biology. They come from hope. They come from belief. They come from the idea that the future is worth sacrificing for. And when people no longer believe the future is safe, stable, or worth building toward, they stop planting seeds. That's why this issue is deeper than statistics. A falling birth rate is not just a number, it is a signal. It says people are afraid, people are exhausted, people are disconnected, people are losing faith in the world they would have to raise children in, what the Bible said about the last days. Now, we have to be careful here. I'm not saying America's birth rate proves the end of the world is tomorrow. Nobody should be setting dates. Nobody should be using fear to manipulate people. But Jesus did tell us to watch the signs of the times. And Paul gave a powerful description of the last days in 2 Timothy chapter 3. He said that in the last days, perilous times would come. People would be lovers of themselves, lovers of money, proud, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God. Now think about that phrase, without natural affection. That speaks to a breakdown in natural bonds, family bonds, parental bonds, loyalty, tenderness, sacrifice, the kind of love that makes a person say, I'm willing to give up comfort so another generation can live. And when a society becomes lovers of self more than lovers of legacy, family starts to collapse. Children require sacrifice, marriage requires humility, parenthood requires patience. But the spirit of this age tells people, protect your comfort, chase pleasure, avoid responsibility, keep your options open, don't be tied down, put yourself first. And then we act surprised when people stop having children. Children went from blessing to burden. The Bible says in Psalm 127, that children are a heritage from the Lord. In other words, children are not just expenses. They are inheritance. They are legacy. They are evidence that life continues beyond you. But modern society has trained people to see children mainly through fear. How much will they cost? How much freedom will I lose? What if the relationship fails? What if family court gets involved? What if I can't protect them? What if this world gets worse? And again, those fears are not fake. But spiritually, when an entire nation starts seeing children more as liabilities than blessings, that says something about the condition of the nation. It says the system has become hostile to life, hostile to family, hostile to covenant, hostile to ordinary people building stable homes. And when that happens, the womb of a nation starts closing. Not always physically, but spiritually, emotionally, culturally. The days of Noah. Connection. Jesus said the last days would be like the days of Noah. People were eating, drinking, marrying, going on with normal life, but they were spiritually blind to the hour they were living in. That sounds familiar because America is distracted. Entertainment everywhere, porn everywhere, alcohol everywhere, politics everywhere, outrage everywhere. But wisdom is rare, commitment is rare, discipline is rare, covenant is rare. People are still moving around, still spending money, still dating, still posting, still arguing online. But underneath all of that activity, the foundations are cracking. And one of those cracks is the family. When families break, nations break. When children disappear, futures disappear. When men and women no longer trust each other enough to build, society starts aging into weakness. The Black community angle. And in the Black community, this hits even deeper because we are already dealing with broken homes, economic pressure, fatherlessness, family court issues, dangerous neighborhoods, distrust between men and women, and a system that does not make family formation easy. So when birth rates fall, we should not just laugh it off. We should ask, are our men healthy enough to lead families? Are our women supported enough to become mothers without feeling abandoned? Are our children protected enough to grow up with hope? Are our communities stable enough to make family feel possible? Because the answer is not simply, everybody go have babies. That is too shallow. The real answer is, we need stronger men, healthier women, God-centered homes, better discipline, better leadership, real marriage, real protection, real community. Because birth without order just creates more pain. But order without life becomes a dead society. We need both. Closing. So is America's falling birth rate. A sign of the last days? Maybe not by itself, but it does look like a symptom of the kind of world the Bible warned us about. A world full of self-love, pleasure, money worship, fear, broken family bonds, and people losing natural affection. A world where children are no longer seen as heritage, but as financial threats. A world where people are alive, but no longer believe in life enough to reproduce it. And that should make us pause, because a falling birth rate is not just about babies, it is about belief. Do people still believe in family? Do people still believe in sacrifice? Do people still believe the future is worth building? Do people still believe God can bless a household in the middle of a collapsing world? That is the real question. America may have a birth rate problem, but underneath that, it has a faith problem, a covenant problem, a hope problem. And until those things are healed, no government check, tax credit, or political speech is going to fix the soul of a nation. What do you think? Are people avoiding children because of money, because of fear, because relationships are broken? Or is there something spiritual happening in the background? Drop your thoughts below. And if this made you think deeper, like the video and subscribe for more commentary on culture, prophecy, family, and the times we're living in.